Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Saban, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a hell of a show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. Follow the channel as well on Instagram, DREAMERSPRO, and check out our podcast that we have pinned in the comments below. Now, this is a topic I'm going to enjoy a lot because it's kind of in our wheelhouse, but then again, it's not. And you're going to understand that as we progress on with this show. So as you guys know, Shannon Sharpe had the biggest interview ever with this Katt Williams interview as we currently speak. The individual interview has 61 million views. If you now account for all of the clips from the interview, I believe is well over 100 million views. So that interview pushed Shannon Sharpe into a totally different stratosphere in terms of his celebrity. So we got that. Fantastic. But now, Vlad, on the other hand, Vlad TV is arguably the biggest independent media platform on the internet. I mean, Vlad, if we're talking about like hip hop and things like that, culture, is Vlad. If I look at his channel, Vlad customarily gets between, let me say, 50. Vlad gets around 45 to 50 million views a month. And some months, Vlad's gotten up to 80 million views, 85 million views in a single month. But he does that consistently, right? Vlad gets a lot of views every single day. And if you look at his overall views on his channel, as we currently speak, Vlad has 5.4 billion views on his platform, 5.4 billion, and he's been on YouTube for quite some time. So we got that. So Vlad he's huge, right? Now, if you look at Shannon Sharpe with the Katt Williams interview, with the Monique interview, it has brought a lot of criticism in his direction with his interviewing style. A lot of people have taken exception with that, and Shannon has gotten into one spat after the other, and then finally, what essentially happened was he got fed up and was on his show with his co-host, where he essentially said, for the people that's hating and all of this, let me essentially tell you how much money I made on my Katt Williams interview. So for those of you who didn't hear what Shannon Sharpe had to say, I want to quickly play it for you. It's only about a 30-second clip. So take a listen to what Shannon had to say here, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Shannon Sharpe had to say here.
Hey, straight, listen, straight to the bank with it. So you get your last off, but on the back end, it ain't nothing but a blessing on you coming your way.
And we talked about this, Ocho. Everybody was talking about, well, how much money I made during the Katt Williams interview. Whatever you think, I just got the check. So whatever you think I made, 3x it.
Let me see.
So if you think I made 500,000, 3x it. If you think I made $1 million, 3x it.
Let me see.
If you think I made 2 million, 3x it.
Let me see it.
I got me a little something today with Ocho. Look at that, Ocho.
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say there. Good. He said, if you think he made 2 million, 3x that. So that's what, 6 million, maybe $7 million dollars. So what happened? Yesterday, I was watching a clip from Vlad TV with Michael Blackson, and they're talking. And in this particular clip, it had the headline that was centered on how much money Vlad believes Shannon Sharpe made off of his Katt Williams interview. So as I was listening to the interview and I was listening to what Vlad said, what became apparent to me was that Vlad probably didn't hear what Shannon Sharpe said in the soundbite we just played for you, or that interview with Michael Blackson was done before he heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say. So for those of you who didn't hear what Vlad said, because that's really what's causing a lot of this stuff on the internet where a lot of people are creating content going at Vlad, we want to play what Vlad had to say, his original comments, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Vlad had to say here.
Like if I had a burner account, I could say whatever I want to.
Some burner account.
To whatever, but I just feel it's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like what's the point of having a fake account to talk to a bunch of people who are not going to respond to me? What's the point of that? I just don't get it. It seems like a total waste of time. But
I think overall, he brought attention to comedy.
Yeah.
Good or bad is attention. People are Googling up comedians more, and they got eyes on us, and I think we are going to sell more tickets because of that. Because people want to see what you're going to say about this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and under that, it's good. But you know, you could have still done it in a great way without, you know, the insults and the lies. A lot of lies.
Well, I mean,
what lies sells, I guess.
Lies sell, man. And if no one's suing him over this shit, then he just made out. He just sold a whole bunch more tickets.
He sold a lot of tickets.
You know, Shannon Sharpe got a great look in the process. And, you know, I mean, it's funny how Shannon does kind of what I do, but I get the people who criticize me aren't criticizing Shannon for the same thing.
Well, no, they getting him.
They getting at him?
A few times, you know. I mean, Mike went in on him. In fact, when that's when, and Shannon responded to me because I said the only winner in this interview was Shannon because he made he made a lot of money from those 50 million views, and I think Shannon.
It's not millions of dollars.
It's not.
Hundreds. I know YouTube.
Okay.
It's hundreds of thousands.
It's 100,000,
but definitely not millions.
Definitely not a million.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you make at least 100 grand. You said 90-something thousand, maybe.
I would say because the interview's long and you could put in multiple ads.
Okay.
I would say maybe $500,000. $500,000 total.
Okay. See, that's a lot. It's pretty decent.
It's a great amount.
I mean, have you ever made that much on an interview?
On one interview? Well, I've never gotten $50 million on one interview.
50 million views, you mean?
Yeah, sorry. Oh, yeah, I've never gotten 50 million views on one interview, but we do push 50 million views on our channel.
Oh, okay.
Most months.
Oh, that's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand, but our stuff is cut up a little bit differently.
Got you.
So I could, like I said, I could eyeball it and see, you know, maybe there's some money off the Spotify and you know what I'm saying? So he did pretty well with it, depending on who else owns, you know, has their hands in the ownership of that, stuff like that. But ultimately, Katt was the one who's really going to gain from this.
So you heard what he had to say. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this show here. So first of all, Vlad believes that Shannon Sharpe probably made $500,000 off of that interview. And it was a very, very long interview. Let me just see here just how long it was. Shannon Sharpe, Katt Williams. I think the full interview was 2 hours and 46 minutes. 2 hours and 46 minutes. So it's a very, very long interview. So Vlad basically made the assumption that, listen, based off of his knowledge of how things work on YouTube, as someone who's been doing it since 2006, because that's when he opened up his platform, he was basically trying to eyeball how much money he thinks Shannon Sharpe made. But the only problem is Shannon Sharpe now came out and said he made millions of dollars. Now, if you look at this 60 million view interview, depending on the time of the year, because January is usually the slowest time in the year for advertisers in terms of how much, you know, their ad spend. So the CPMs are going to be down. So you got to factor that in. It's not like as if we're in later months in the year. So it's going to affect the CPM. But given the fact that the interview was so long and it has so many ads, I'm sure, it's going to increase the CPM. So it is quite conceivable that a 60 million view interview could probably get, let's say it could probably make $1 million, right? It could probably make $1 million in January, given the length and the amount of ads that they put in the interview. But what's different is Shannon is now going out there and saying, no, I made millions of dollars. And what has happened is, I think a lot of people are now, I've heard what Vlad said, and it's making it seem like as if Vlad is hating on Shannon Sharpe. And I can understand that based on how you were saying, like, his formula is quite simple to do. Just get somebody who's pissed off and disgruntled with other people, bring them on your show, and then have them go at other people. Like, I understand that. But I want to stick to the part about the money part. Now, here's the part, and we're going to have Marcellus on the show this week, and we're going to ask him about it. Here's the pertinent information that I think Vlad is unaware of and a lot of people are unaware of, and it's still a little bit foggy. We're going to hold up an image from Shannon Sharpe's Instagram account that he posted a number of days ago, kind of giving the breakdown for the Katt Williams interview. So we're going to put it up now for you guys to look at it. So it says, full episode views, 61 million. The Katt Williams effect. Let's get into the numbers a little bit deeper. It says 320 million views across all CCS social channels. Got that. Then it also said 1.6 million audio downloads. Be looking at that as well in 2 months. Then it also said 110,000 people watched the premiere episode live. Then it says subs gained on YouTube surpassing 2.9 million. And all the other numbers at the bottom are just followers. So the numbers you need to pay attention to here in terms of revenue are two: the 320 million views across social media channels and the audio downloads, especially the audio downloads. Now, why am I talking about the audio downloads? Because that is by far the most difficult thing to do. As someone who will tell you, Marco and I will tell you, we have the Dreamers Pro podcast. In the basketball category, for example, the United States is in the top 100, right? It's in the top 100 of all the podcasts. And this is with no real push or, going on TV and promoting our podcast or this person or bringing on any celebrities. That's just us marketing it through our shows, right? So we're in the top 100, but we don't get thousands of downloads, right? We don't get thousands of downloads per episode. So we're in the top 100. Now, Shannon is in the top 5 across all categories with both of his podcasts. So based on the numbers, if you look at the 320 million views, he didn't get 320 million views from YouTube. It said across all platforms, including social, including Instagram, including TikTok, including Facebook. They're talking about all of that. But if we're going to stick to the YouTube views, it is conceivable that his video or his interview made $1 million. That is conceivable. But $7 million, that's inconceivable. And that's the reason why we need to go back to the picture that we just showed you guys. And I think the number that really increased that revenue point to all the way up to $6-7 million, whatever he said, I believe it was the downloads. Because anyone in this space will tell you the hardest thing to do is grow a successful podcast. If you look at the ratio between the full interview of 61 million views and the downloads, it's not even 1%. It's not even 1%. But given the fact that the volume of views was so large, he was able to generate 1.6 million downloads. And I think because of that, where the real ad spend is, that's where he made the chunk of his money. It wasn't on the views. It was on the downloads. And maybe Vlad is not privy to that. Not saying that Vlad is dumb, nothing like that, not at all, because Vlad, I'm sure, could hunt this information down rather quickly. But I think Vlad was just looking at the AdSense views. But if you look at this number with the downloads, it's possible because, it's like the best kept secret in sports media. No one really knows these podcasts and how they really make money. There's only a select few people, and those are the people with that are part of the big networks out there, like iHeart and others. So I think that's where he got the majority of his money from. That's where his full interview, even if it got 300 million views, it's still not going to get you $7 million on YouTube. It's just not going to do it. So for you to get that amount of money, you would need close to 1 billion views to be able to make $7 million. Or let's not even say billion. Let me say 800 million views to make the number that Shannon Sharpe threw out there with a very, very good CPM. So I don't believe it's through YouTube. Vlad could be hating, but what I think is Vlad said that before this information came out, and that's what caused the confusion. The overall takeaway here is I think Vlad didn't have that information. I'm not sure he was hating because the number he pointed at, it's conceivable. It's conceivable. Obviously, he doesn't know what Shannon Sharpe's CPM was, so he just eyeballed it and said $500,000. Right? I mean, $500,000. So basically, he's saying he probably had an $8 to $9 RPM. Could be wrong. Now, it could be probably $13, but still, that's not $7 million. So I think he made the majority of his money off of those downloads and how things are structured with his partners and all of that stuff. And that's really how he made that money. That's what I personally believe. How he did it exactly, I don't know, but that's what I think. So these are my thoughts on this video. What I want to know from you guys. What do you think about today's analysis? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.